there, Maggie here to walk you through how to add your own business to aroundthecorner.app or aroundthecornerilm.com. First, when you arrive on the homepage, you're going to want to navigate over here to sign up. You'll be prompted with two different options to authenticate your user and go ahead and get a new account set up. Here, we're just going to go to register. You'll want to include your first name, last name, email, and password. This information will not be visible to others unless you're leaving a review, and in that case, it'll just be your name and information. As for the marketing emails, this is specifically for platform updates, as well as any sort of feature rollouts, or if we're making any sort of announcement as to platform capabilities. So if for some reason we're noticing some slowdown in our filters or search functionality, this is where you would get that information, and that's really just opting into those notifications. So we're going to go ahead and log in since we already have an account here. You'll see the success icon down here at the lower bottom, or the lower right-hand bottom. And then you'll see your main dashboard. Your dashboard is separated into 4 different sections: you as a community member, you as a business, you as a collaborator, and just your general account settings. So this will just give you an overview of how long you've been a member, as well as any sort of email or contact information. Let's go ahead and hit create your first listing. You'll notice a couple of different things here. First, you'll see basic information, and this is everything that is required to set up a business account. There's no payment required, as we've mentioned before in a couple of our posts, as well as on the website, but there is required information that we'll need to have to ensure that we can verify your business status. So in this case, we're gonna go ahead and type in around the corner. Going to add a brief description. I really encourage using some keywords here and making sure that it has plenty of information about your business. We do recommend a minimum of 20 characters. However, we understand that not every business owner has that. So then we're going to go down here to business categories. We have over 40 different categories to choose from, but if for some reason you don't find one that fits specifically what you are looking for, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to add additional ones or help you find which one works best. So we've got our 3 listed there. And then we're going to also ensure that our email information is included. You don't have to add a phone number. However, if you do want future text message updates or anything like that, I do recommend adding that in if you do have a actual phone number for your business. At this point, I am going to save the draft just so I have that, and you'll also see up here at the top that you have a saved draft. So if you need to come back to it, you'll be able to. Then you'll have your business location. This is optional. We only recommend adding in an address if you have a physical brick and mortar store. If you have multiple locations, I recommend noting that in the description that this is your main hub. Now, we are going to be implementing additional functionality in the future where you can actually put multiple addresses if you are something like a franchise. But at this time, we do just recommend kind of putting your main address here. In this case, we are a mobile vendor, so we are going to leave that blank. And then here, this is where you can add your social media information. You can add either the username or the full URL. I do recommend the full URL if there is any sort of chance that Instagram could make a mistake, or you do have the potential to be changing your URL in the future. But in this case, you've got plenty of options. We will be adding additional social features in the future, but for right now, just connecting your socials are going to be really important. Then we get into the really fun stuff. This is business classifications. You'll see a couple different things here that I want you to spend some time on because this is what helps people find you. First is your ownership identity. This is essentially classifying if you qualify for any sort of ownership groups like veteran-owned, women-owned, minority-owned, or BIPOC-owned, first-generation-owned, etc. Essentially, this will help people if they are looking for a particular business and ownership status, they're able to find that here. We also have values. So this is really to ensure that as a business, you can kind of clarify your stance if you do support particular efforts. So for example, if you are having any pride events, you'll want to post that you're LGBTQ plus friendly. If you have body inclusive sizing and apparel, this is a great opportunity for you to note that. If you are a bar or a brewery and you have non-alcoholic options, you can also note here as recovery supportive if you have additional resources available. If you are film friendly, meaning that you work with local film and TV productions and you have specific processes that help make that process easier, you can note that here. Obviously, this doesn't cover nearly everything that we would want to potentially support. We'll be adding more in the future, just like we would with categories, but definitely let us know. This business section is also very important to let people know how you operate. So for example, if you are a franchise, so maybe you're a coffee shop that has multiple locations, or if you are a local market co-op, you can note all of that here. You can support multiple of these. If you have an online store, but you also occasionally pop up at markets, you can choose both of those if you wanted to. Now for accessibility, this is really important for brick and mortar stores as well, to let people know how your business is reachable. So for example, if you have a ramp, or if you have an elevator where people can reach the second floor, you can absolutely choose ADA accessible. You can also note if it's kid friendly or family friendly. For small businesses, maybe that are service-based and maybe it's not really normal to have a child with you, you can always note that and let people know that their families are welcome. This one is going to be a part of a future optimization for the platform as well. This is dog friendly. This is going to note whether your business allows dogs inside. This is not necessarily service animals. This is pets specifically, but this is inside and outside, or where you have potentially an eating area outside where people can walk in, grab their food, and then go sit down outside. You're able to filter this way so dog owners will know how your business is set up. If you have products that specifically cover any number of these, and obviously more, if anything comes up, you can absolutely choose these as well. Select as many as apply. And then dietary and health, of course, this is going to be mainly for restaurants or anywhere that serves food, drink, etc. So then we have your business images. We do recommend having at least one main business image. Otherwise, we will default to our regular around the corner one. You'll see our image requirements here, right up here at the top. We currently have a limit of up to 10 images, but this is something that we're working on in the future as well. For the gallery, we recommend uploading a horizontal view or a hamburger view, as I like to call it. And that way people can kind of scroll through, see your products and services. And then for your main business image, we would recommend either this being the inside of your brick and mortar store, picture of your booth, or a logo if you have one. Again, as you can tell, I didn't fill out any of the optional ones. I only included that which was required. If you have any additional questions or any concerns as to how your listing is showing, feel free to reach out to us. We're more than happy to help.